The steel grip of cold descends on all things, covering the recently vibrant countryside with blankets of stillness and quietude. This is the time when all becomes dormant. The growing and fertile world rests. Humans learn that this is just a season in the cycle of the year, and that light and warmth and the rich fecundity of springtime will emerge in just a few months. But somehow winter still remains unsettling, a scary challenge to survival, a time of isolation, loneliness, and cold. In deep midwinter, we have time to think, perchance to dream. In so many cultures, we invented stories of events that help us know ourselves in this dark world. And not surprisingly, most of these stories and our ways of remembering them involve light, fire, and warmth. The story goes that a desperate and beleaguered band of warriors finally managed to recapture the holy temple and to relight the flame of the lamp they used to attract God into that place. The oil they found was enough for only one day. It would take a week to obtain a new supply. But miraculously, the lamp burned for 8 days and 8 nights. This is how God told his people that he loved them and was with them and wanted them to remain in the temple and on the sacred land around it. The story goes that you should clean your house thoroughly and decorate with color, sand patterns on the floor, bright hues on the walls, and then light it with the glow of many candles and maybe some fireworks. If you do these things well, then beloved Lakshmi, wife of Vishnu, might pass through your lives and bless you with prosperity, wealth, and good fortune for the coming year. The story goes that a simple carpenter led his pregnant wife on a long journey to comply with the oppressor's mandate that they be counted in the town of his birth. The couple was received poorly, and in meager shelter the woman bore a child. A brilliant star appeared in the sky, and many sensed the presence of the holy in this birth and in this child. The child would grow to challenge the moral order and would alter the course of history. The story goes that the sun stands still for 12 days during the solstice, and this becomes a time of feasting and celebration. Fires blaze with special logs, ritual celebrations are performed with circles, altars, and candles. All are shared to observe the birth of the new sun and to honor and welcome the start of another cycle of the year. There are many other stories. They exist everywhere people experience wintertime. Winter is a time when we seek reassurance that warmth and light will return again. The metaphor can be pushed fairly far. We can celebrate the spiritual victory of light over darkness, of goodness over evil, and even of knowledge over ignorance. So we have almost always built tradition where we burn fires brightly and gather in feast and festivity, in song and in prayer. Winter is indeed a good time to turn inward, to be contemplative. Cold and dark take away many diversions and encourage us, sometimes force us, to withdraw into solitary and private activity. For most of us, the traditional midwinter holiday is Christmas, reflecting our Christian heritage. We really have no idea when Jesus was born. A Roman emperor fixed the date we now use, probably to piggyback on the Saturnalia celebration already familiar to most Romans. But it doesn't really matter, because as we know, any night a child is born is a holy night. I'm interested in the imagery and the power of this birth. Every new birth does feel miraculous. It is creation, regeneration, continuation, a literal embodiment of the future and of human potentiality. And birth initiates a relation of nurturing that teaches love, interdependency, and that sustains every one of us. Birth is a time of great hope and possibility because a new child might someday help us reach towards our dreams and desires. And Jesus from the gospel was such a man. What I have come to know as Christmas time now, though, is essentially a secular celebration that at its best captures the essence of Unitarian Universalist and my humanist values within that. I love Christmas because however this came to pass, it is the one holiday, indeed the one day that invites each of us, invites all of us, believer and skeptic, to try to find our best selves and our purest sense of good and to share them with one another. It is a day dedicated to that part of ourselves that wants to be loving and caring and selfless. This thing called the spirit of Christmas is palpable and real. It is closely held by most of us and by so many others around our country and much of the world. And I say this with only a vague notion of what the spirit of Christmas really is. It's a meme, a cultural idea that's bigger than any of the things that helped it come to be. It is part Christian, from the story of the gospel in Luke. It is part an import from our European heritage. It is part Madison Avenue, part Hallmark. Like anything in open society, Christmas has its downside. It's often exploited and commercialized beyond recognition, and has taken hold as the single biggest occasion for ostentatious consumption during our year. But that's the downside. Returning to the holiday, Christmas grabs and holds our hopes and aspirations in a way that few other ideas can. To some, Christmas embodies magical notions. I prefer to see it as feeling magical. The persistent message tied to the theme of Christmas is often expressed as peace on earth, goodwill to all. What higher thoughts, what more important expression of human needs and values could exist than these? Peace and goodwill to all. Peace, love, joy, goodwill. These are Christmas words. To what greater ideas should we aspire? What greater goals could we hold? On Christmas, I go to church. I join with family and friends at home. We exchange gifts and share foods, and I phone loved ones in distant places. These are things I might do at other times, but they are different on Christmas. They hold more feeling, and the feeling is shared by all. They hold the importance of what connects us. They are imbued with birth and rejuvenation, with peace, with goodwill, and they do bring a sense of hope and joy. Christmas is a time when a special goodness larger than any one of us is manifest in the world, and it feels good. So to all here, have a Merry Christmas, however you hold it, and may we all go forth in joy and in hope. And now we get to sing again. Please stand if you'd like. We're singing number